Hello, everybody, and welcome to a fantastic and exciting episode of the first ever episode of the Theme Park Society podcast. I am James Smiles.
Yay!
I'm joined today with our first channel guest, who also is a channel member, Dan Frowns.
It's me!
Congratulations, Dan Frowns. Woo! You just came back from your trip to Alton Towers with the gang this weekend. I just want to touch on that before we start. Was it good?
Nope.
Okay, let's move on. So, in other news, we've thought of a great idea here. Dan is meticulous about the way that he tracks his top coasters and every roller coaster that he has been on since he can remember, I suppose. So, how did that even start?
Um,
Takes a sip of the
just
coffee
take a
as I
sip
ask
of...
him a question. Yeah, that's...
Sorry about that. I started tracking my roller coasters when I was a kid, because I was really into theme parks, and I thought, oh, track all of my roller coasters, put them into a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet on my laptop, and then as time's gone on, I've put that onto my phone, and I've just kept it in my phone's notes throughout all these years. So I've just got a list of all of my roller coasters and where I rank them.
Just to talk about the lengths you have to go to be at a theme park all day and then come home and then open an Excel spreadsheet and then track all of the rides that you've been on. That is impressive, I have to say. That is really impressive.
There's one word, James, and it's autism.
It's not a word I want to use too lightly because I think we've probably every person involved in this YouTube channel probably has some form of autism. Like I would say, you know, my
No, we're all
hyperfixation.
completely normal. Like we haven't got any kind of like neurodivergence. We're all just completely normal, sound-minded individuals that yeah.
They're the people to watch out for. You know, they're the people who have taken my rap pass away from me. Anyway, what we're going to do today is I'm going to take the top 10. Well, actually, he's got top 25. I'm going to take the top 25 roller coasters from Dan's top. How many even is in the whole list?
I've got 144 roller coasters that I've been on.
So that's impressive. That is really impressive. So we're going to take the top 25 of that list, and in no particular order. I've got all of those. Put them onto a tier list, and Dan is going to basically re-rank 10 of them because I'm sure he doesn't remember where each of these roller coasters is on that 25. So he's going to basically, without knowing where he ranked that ride, put it on the tier list from S to E. We're only going to do 10, and if you like this concept, we can do more in the future, because Dan has got a lot of rides on his list, so there's a few videos there, I'm sure. So, shall we just start things off?
Yeah, let's kick it off.
Now, one thing I haven't told you yet, Dan, is I've also going to ask you a quiz question for each ride, and if you get the quiz question wrong, then I get to potentially rearrange where you've put it on your tier list.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm up for that. I love a quiz.
I know we know you do, Dan. We know you do. Did you even go? Did you even go to the Big Blackpool quiz with Scott?
No,
Ah, that's a shame.
too
All
far
right
in
then.
it.
Could be. All right, so I'm just gonna share my screen. Very professional recording setup here. Can you see my screen, viewers and Dan?
I can see, yes.
All right, so we're going to start things off with a Vekoma roller coaster located at Phantasialand, and that is Fly.
Okay, so Fly is pretty low in my coaster rankings. As far as I'm aware, I might be wrong, but as far as I'm aware, I think it is number 25. And for that reason, I'm going to put it in E tier.
Okay, so that's that's really bad. That's really shocking. All the way in E tier. I mean, have you seen the? Have you? I mean, obviously you've seen it, but the aesthetic of that ride and the I guess we're talking about the area now, but Please just quickly talk me through why. I'll tell you, it wasn't 25th on your list. You actually ranked it at 24, so pretty close. But yeah, what is it? What is it about it that's why is it an E?
Um, So the coaster itself is the reason that I don't like it that much because the theming is beautiful, the soundtrack is amazing. The fact that the Hotel Charles Lindbergh is literally inside the area is amazing. I've stayed there 3 times and every single time it's been like a completely amazing, beautiful, magical, all the good words experience. However, I'm not ranking Rookburg as an area, I'm ranking Fly as a roller coaster. Now, Fly itself is essentially a family coaster, um, but the reason that I'm not a massive fan of it is because the restraints are incredibly uncomfortable because you get quite a lot of G-force on the downwards helixes, but because the restraints are quite hard and they're very central to your like your chest, it really hurts, and it's just not a very nice experience.
So it's uncomfortable, and what you're saying is you're not basing this list off of the theming around it. You're basing it purely off the ride experience.
The theming does come into it, but the thing is,
So
the
with
coaster is.
without the theme on your list of 114 44 coasters, 160, whatever it was, without Rookburg, would this fall even farther then for you?
100%, like 100%. Like if there was no Rookburg, if it was just plonked in a field like at Flamingo Land or something, I genuinely, yeah, I genuinely think that it would probably be sub
It
50.
is. It is plonked in a field at Flamingo Land. Remember, it's called Hero.
Well, and the thing is, a lot of people really hate Hero, but it's nowhere near my bottom.
We've started this off very controversially. I'm not gonna lie. Straight in with putting Fly in E, right, and then
Yeah.
Hero's not that bad. That'll be the title of this podcast. Maybe I should put Hero on this list somewhere and then see where it ends up. Okay, well, fair enough. So your quiz question to see whether or not I want to move it is: as the world's longest flying coaster, what completely unique world's first mechanism is used for how riders board the train and transition into the flying position?
Okay, I don't know the exact term for it, but I will explain it.
Okay.
So the track in the station is not like Galactica and it's not like the Smiler. It's completely on its side. So basically when the train comes in, the seats are upright with your back to the track, and then the track as you leave twists and the train twists with it, so you're in a flying position.
It's pretty cool, right? And whilst that happens on the ride, do you go through some immersive element? Like, is it quite as a theming to see?
Yeah, so you basically go through a tunnel and there's a huge LED screen that you're sort of following as you go up. Um, and then at the end of this LED screen, your seat kind of twists and then the track banks back over onto where you should be. So then you're in the flying position before you go into the launch.
That's pretty cool, right? It is definitely innovative. Do you think it's actually better than getting on, say, a B&M flying coaster?
Yes, 100%. I think the boarding process on it is way better than a B&M flying coaster. Unfortunately, the restraints are the reason that I don't like it. I prefer the restraints on a B&M coaster.
Okay, cool. Let's move back to the list then. Thanks, Dan. I think I'll keep it. You got the question right anyway, so I can't move it. But I think that is a controversial place to put it in some ways.
Yeah.
Let's just move. Let's get in a plane and fly from Germany, not too far, over into any ideas? Holland with a roller coaster called Lost Gravity.
Yeah. Lost Gravity is a really good coaster. You get the same sort of benefits that you do from any other sort of Mac Mega, Mac Hyper coaster. So there's lots of airtime. The theming's quite nice. However, the park is a bit of a. I won't sugarcoat it, James. The park's a shithole. Um, so, so I think for me, Lost Gravity is going to go in. I'm going to put it in C tier.
Interesting, interesting. Let's put it in C tier for now then. Lost Gravity is a Mack ride, yeah, and it's quite
Hmm.
unique in some ways. It was very unique when it first opened. The theme on the ride is really cool, I think. Different, um, even if they lended the colours from another roller coaster, quite blatantly. They went, that looks cool, let's do that, but make it even more black and yellow.
Hmm.
Um, and and yeah, I get what you mean about the park. If you haven't watched Dan's vlog from Wallaby Holland, you should go and check it out. It's really good. It is a bit of an eye opener. I went to one of the Wallaby parks in Belgium when I was younger, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good park. I don't know if they've sort of declined in quality since
To
then,
my
because that was years
understanding,
ago.
the one in Belgium and the one in France are apparently a lot nicer than the one in the Netherlands. The one in the Netherlands is like it attracts a very aggressive and sort of, to be honest, the clientele is just not very nice. So it's yeah.
Fair enough. Do you know where you ranked it on your overall list?
I'm gonna guess like 14th, 13th, 14th, something like that.
Not far off. You ranked it in 11th place. So it's not
Okay.
bad. Like, considering all the coasters that are on this list, um, it's actually directly behind it is Dragon Con, and directly in front. This is where I feel like we'll get to it, but I'm not going to tell you actually what's in front of it. We're just gonna do that one next.
Okay.
So, the question for this ride is: this quirky coaster was the first installation of which specific coaster model manufactured by Mack Rides?
It's the Big Dipper.
Correct. So there's no moving that one either, Dan. Very good, very good. So next up, I want to do Nemesis Reborn, please.
Yeah. I am right off the bat. I'm gonna put Nemesis Reborn in A tier.
Okay.
Um, so it is an incredibly intense ride. The theming is absolutely marvelous. It's genuinely one of the most legendary roller coasters of all time. The only reason that it's not in S tier is because compared to some of the modern coasters that we have today, in terms of the forces that they give you and the certain sensations that you get, I just prefer a ride on a more up to date coaster. But in terms of classic roller coasters, like 1990s thrill coasters, it's as good as it gets. You don't get any better than Nemesis.
I feel like it was during a time when like roller coasters really stood for something. Like they really wanted to manipulate you, and I know that still happens, but we'll get to it with Hyperia later. But this is a good comparison. Like what they did then in the 1990s was far more impressive than if you than what they could have done now with the time and power and money. But anyway, fantastic ride. Interestingly, this is the one that was in 10th place. So there's quite a gap. There's a whole tier gap there between Lost Gravity and Nemesis Reborn. I think it's kind of unfair that your 10th and 11th Nemesis Reborn then Lost Gravity, especially with it's just interesting that that's how you've ranked it. But
I would say that Nemesis Reborn is the theming is better and the lore behind it is better, but I think since they retracked it, it's not as good of a ride.
it's fair enough. It's fair enough. That's a shared opinion by many people, but at least it's a ride we still have. Right, the question for this one: during its massive 2023-2024 retrack, almost the entire layout was replaced. Which two sections of the original 1994 track were kept and not replaced?
The lift hill and the final brake run.
I don't know. I don't know if we can count that, Dan.
Really?
What's the lift hill in the station? But I
I
don't know
think the
if
final. I'm pretty sure the final brakes were kept the same as well, but they were replaced from a. So the track stayed there, but they replaced the friction brakes with magnetic brakes.
I don't know if we can count that though. Well, that's not what I've got on my that's not what I've got on. I'll tell you what. I'll give it to you. It's fine. Keep it there. A tier is not a bad place for it anyway. Where would I put it? Would I put it in S tier? Probably. But again, I've not ridden as many roller coasters as you have, so your perspective might change things a little bit. All right, cool. So far, every ride you've put on here on your list has been in the correct order, or so that's pretty good. That goes to show you know how you feel. Let's move on to a bit of a different ride now. One that I would really like to try one day, and one that is most people's favourite at the moment, and that's Ride to Happiness.
Yeah, Ride to Happiness is my favourite coaster in the entire world. So I'm gonna put it in S tier, obviously.
Okay.
Um, the this is right. So you know how you are with Hyperia, and the fact that you say that like you just don't quite, you just it's just not your kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I would, I would, I reckon Ride to Happiness would be your number one coaster if you went on it.
I could see that. Yeah, I've not actually been on one of these max bidders, so I can't wait. I can't wait to actually do that. I've not even been on Enzo, on Icon, so I could see this being a top coaster for me. Yeah, 100%.
Genuinely,
I'll
like
have to do it.
the onboard soundtrack as you're coming over the top of the top hat and you're literally facing down towards the lake is just ridiculous. And then there's an element on it called a step up underflip. And yeah, I know. And when you're going through that element but you're spinning, it's the most ridiculous feeling in the world. It's so good. I love that coaster.
Yeah, I love the idea of an element called a step up underflip. That. It sounds like something RMC would create.
Yeah.
All right, I can't argue with where you've put that. The question is, this incredible extreme spinning coaster features a very rare ultra slow inversion right out of the station before the first launch. What is the specific name of this element?
It is a JoJo roll.
Correct. You're absolutely on a roll here. Wow, yeah, Dan, so far I'm pretty impressed that you've managed to stay true to yourself and you've ranked all of these in the correct order. So let's move on to the next one and see if we can change things up a little bit.
Okay.
Um, so looking at this list, what have we got here? All right, so let's do Troy.
Troy at
Troy. Toverland?
Troy at Toverland, yes. It's a GCI wooden coaster, really, really big. Biggest GCI wooden coaster I've been on. And it is incredibly fast, incredibly forceful. You get lots of airtime, but it is really rough. Like, I had a lasting headache after I came off my first ride, and I didn't go back for another ride until my headache had calmed down. Luckily, after that, I was okay. But yeah, it's definitely, it rattles you about a lot.
It rattles you about a lot, but it's a good ride.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I think I'm going to put it in C tier, just below Lost Gravity for this one.
Okay, there we go. C tier. With in regards to wooden coasters, do they tend to be some of your favourites, or how do you feel about them in
Um,
general?
I think generally I really like wooden coasters, but the problem is the ones I've done are either really small, like Wicker Man, Heidi the Ride, Joris and the Drac. They're quite small, or alternatively they're really big, like Troy, but they smack your head around and give you a bad headache, and that's why I'm a little bit skeptical with wooden coasters. I need to find that kind of like perfect middle ground, and that's where I'm hoping when we go to Europa Park in October, Woden is like big but still quite smooth.
Yeah, yeah, it's supposed to be. So yeah, that's true. And we are going to go to October. Wait, what? We're not going to October. Oh, we will go to October. That's the way time passes. But no, we are going as a group to as Theme Park Society to Europa Park in October. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. It's the best way to experience it is with your pals. So it's going to be fantastic. And there's not really a better time to go than October either. So
No, I'm really looking forward to it. Not just because it's our first time to the park, but also because obviously I love Halloween events, and they've got Traumatica, which is meant to be one of the one of the best Halloween events in Europe, so it should be really, really fun.
I remember, this is slightly off topic, but do you remember when Portaventura turned their water park into a giant scare maze?
No, I don't. I know it happened, but I never did it.
So I did it, and it was like a Timu version of a scare attraction. Like, I love Portaventura, but it was unbelievable. In fact, all of the mazes I did there were unbelievably cringe and bad. And the thing about the water park one is it was really cool that it was long and took up the space of a whole water park, and it was awesome that you were in the water park. But there was actually no scares. It was more like walking through a parade of scare actors. If that makes
Is it
sense.
is it the one that's called Isla Maldita or something?
Something I don't even remember, but I just
I
remember
think
being
I've got
like,
I've, I think I've got a cup in my cupboard that's actually got like the print of it on.
potentially it was ambitious, but I just thought it was a bit. I was expecting to be scared, you know. There was no
Yeah.
scares. I went into Rec as well. They had that maze, and again, it was like a really cool use of the space. I think this is what they get wrong. The use of the space in all of these cases is really good, but then the actual scare acting or performance is not very good.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know if it's just a Spanish thing, but that's what I'm hoping Europa
All
Park
right,
doesn't do.
there's no need to be racist.
Sorry. True. Right, let's move on. So let's go for the Smiler, Dan, please.
The Smiler.
Wait, I didn't ask
I'm
you.
good.
Did I ask you the question about Troy? Did I ask you the question about Troy?
No,
I didn't.
no, you didn't.
During the construction, also Dan rated Troy as 15th in his top 25 of roller coasters. What do you think? Where would you put Troy? And he's ranked it as a C tier here with Lost Gravity. And Lost Gravity, if I don't know if you remember, was ranked at 11th. So they're pretty close. But yes, during the construction of this massive GCI wooden coaster in 2006, which major weather event caused a significant setback?
I think it was really, really high winds that caused the lift hill to get damaged. It basically fell down.
I almost can't believe you guessed that because such an obscure question. Wow. And also, I've just got deja vu for some reason as well. But yeah, no, that's really good. Well done. Good answer to that question. I won't be moving that. Don't worry about me. I get deja vu sometimes. All right. Yeah. So now we've got Lost Gravity and Troy next to each other. So your 11th, yeah, your 11th and your 15th ride. In between those is Icon at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. So talk about Icon.
Yeah, I think Icon, when it first opened, was my number one coaster. But obviously,
This is
since
why
then, I've done a lot.
I struggle with you because you've ridden so many roller coasters, but like I'm not being funny. Icon is just a very bland ride experience, and I feel like it's the same with Hyperia.
No, I like Icon. So, Icon was my number one coaster when I first rode it. Uh, Obviously, a year or two later, it fell way down. But I think it's fun. I think it's got a lot of, it's got good airtime, good hang time. The theming's a little bit lackluster, but overall, it's a really good coaster. I think, as far as I'm aware, it's around the sort of like 11th, 12th in my top 10. Actually, saying that, I think it might be like ninth or something like that. So, I'm going to put it in B tier on this one.
I'm afraid you have ranked it higher than Troy, but not higher than Lost Gravity. So
Okay.
interesting, which is fine because they're both underneath it actually, so that's cool. And you ranked it at 13th. Sorry,
Okay.
14th. Troy being 15th, so literally just underneath Troy.
Ah,
Um,
so theoretically then, the list should be Icon should be where Lost Gravity is, and Lost Gravity should be where Icon is, and then it would be perfect.
you reckon?
Yeah, but don't change it because that's the whole point of the video.
All right, cool. And this is a really easy question. In 2022, Icon received a spinning upgrade to its rear seats on certain trains. What is the official name of the spinning seat modification, and what is the current price to ride?
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, this it's called Enzo.
Yeah.
The the price when I did it was £15. However, I did see a Facebook post a couple of days ago saying that it was on a deal where it's only £5 until the end of March.
I didn't count that though, so I've put £15 as the answer. So
Okay.
no worries.
That's that's ridiculous. Like £15 for just one ride is
It
insane.
ki- it kind of takes me back to when Blackpool operated as a token attraction, so you'd pay for the rides that you'd go on, and that
Yeah.
it's like that mentality, but it's the same fucking roller coaster. It does annoy me slightly that you can't just queue up for for Enzo. Every time I go, it's always empty. There's literally I have to watch the ride. Me and Scott sit on that terrace where that restaurant is, where we
Yeah.
have like a beer. And every time the ride comes around, the train comes around, the Enzo carriage is empty, and it's just like, surely operationally that makes zero sense.
It doesn't at all
Just
because you could just let people queue up for it. Like, how about instead of charging people £15 for it, how about you charge, I don't know, like maybe like £5 for an all day pass, and then in that all day pass you can have like timed tickets or something, so that you still get to do Enzo. They're still getting a little bit of money, but it's not so much that people are like go off the idea of spending it. Like, I don't know.
if I was gonna do it, if I was the director of the park, I would make it so that um, you have to buy a drink or a meal at the park, or like let's say so basically to encourage sales across of the food and beverage. I would be like, you can unlock this part of the ride if you spend like £15 across the park, and then or you spend it in one transaction and they give you a ticket to go and ride Enzo. But you could still
Yeah,
also sell it.
or like a wristband or something, and then you can just go and use
Yeah,
that wristband on Enzo when you
yeah,
get it. That's
yeah.
such a good idea. Why don't they just do something like that?
Because they're still getting the money, right? Like, so you might as well.
Yeah,
Anyway,
exactly.
interesting. Yeah, I do find it interesting. I'll be honest, I do find it interesting that Icon's a B tier for you, and I also find it interesting that it's quite highly ranked compared to a lot of these other rides. Just personally, because again, I don't know if for me it's just a Mac thing, because I don't feel anything when I go on these rides. With the Icon and Hyperia, I don't feel any forces at all.
You need to have a long, hard think about that and come back to me when you've actually got some sense, James.
I'm being serious. Just this, it's like they're beige rides in my mind.
They're my favourite. Mac are my favourite manufacturer.
Yeah, I can see that. Until I've ridden one of those Mack Spinners, I can't comment. But so far, every Mack roller coaster I've been on that isn't the Runaway Mine Train, I'm not the biggest fan of.
That's fair enough.
Right, let's move on. Let's do Munich looping, because that's an interesting one.
No, I
Where would
don't
you
want to
put
do
Munich?
Munich looping.
Why?
Just don't want to do it.
We have to do it. Do you want to do a different one, really?
Yeah, do a different one.
I wanted to put it in S tier. All right, let's do Yoi. Tell me about Yoi. This is a really interesting one.
Yoi. Yeah, are we talking about Yoi Thrill or Yoi Chill?
Which both.
Both. Well, Yoi Thrill is a lot better than Yoi Chill.
They've been combined into one thing on your list. So
They haven't,
have they not?
but Yoi Chill is not in my top 25, whereas Yoi Thrill is.
Oh yeah, Yoi Thrill. Okay, fair enough. So go
So
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll go off the basis of Yoi Thrill. The restraints are really strange because it's a single rail
Wait,
coaster.
Dan. So people understand which one of the green one or the blue one, which is which.
The blue one is the chill one with no inversions, and then the green one is the thrill one with like 7 inversions or something like that.
Okay,
So
carry
the
on.
green one, thrill, it is really good, obviously with it being a single rail coaster, you kind of sit almost like straddled on like a bench. So you've got one leg either side of the seat, and then you kind of, yeah, it's a really weird way of doing it. But I really enjoyed it. Nathan really enjoyed it. Jazz hated it. Like she just absolutely hated it. She said it made her legs like cramp up during the ride. So I can understand why it may not be good for some people, but for my own personal experience, I took my arms out of the vest restraint, so it was just the lap bar holding me in, which is probably a massive no-no, but I did it anyway. And the forces that I got on it were really, really good. It's a little bit janky and rattly considering I went on it on opening year, but I thought it was good fun. I thought it was a really fun and enjoyable coaster. However, it's not it's not that high up my list, so I think I'm gonna put it in E tier.
Do you,
No,
ooh,
no, 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 no. Sorry, D tier.
I was gonna say that's really rough of you to put it in E tier. I've not been on a single rail coaster yet. How much does it actually change your experience?
Barely.
Really?
It doesn't feel that different. The only thing that feels different is that uh you're sat in a different way. You're not sort of on your typical kind of roller coaster seat. But other than that, it's not a huge difference.
They do when you meant like in regards to roughness. I can see how some of the inversions feel a lot tight. They must feel a lot tighter, right? Because you're at the center of the gravity.
Yeah, it does feel a lot sort of like whippier and tighter. I wouldn't say it's rough, but it's kind of got a bit of a rattle to it. But I think that's just because it is a single rail coaster and there's less kind of there's less metal there to hold everything. It's kind of just like a little line that you're sitting on.
It's a little bit like in the UK. I don't know why I'd be talking about anywhere else, but they used to have these little roller coaster things they put in parks for a while. I don't know if they ever had one where you were, but there was one near me, and it was like a single rail basically with a thing you sit on, and it was like a little loop like for kids to play on in like parks you just find out and about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're on about. Some the ones that I had were it wasn't you didn't sit on a seat. It was kind of like just a platform.
Yeah, 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 and then it would go around, but it was literally a single rail track. We had one at a park near us, and then someone set, but for us it was a cart, and someone set fire to it, and then yeah, obviously because it was a free park, just the council just never bothered fixing it. It's a real shame, but that was a really interesting thing, and
Sounds
also
about
it must
right.
have been pretty fucking, it must have been pretty fucking like dangerous. I can only imagine it was a real liability because it wasn't tiny, like it was big enough, and if someone sat
Did it
on
have
that and they're coming
inversions?
around. No, not sadly not. Sadly not. It should have. But
What?
please, councils, bring back free roller coasters in parks,
Yeah, love that.
not theme parks. Let me clarify. This is just in a park. I'll try and find a photo of it and put it on the video. Anyway, so you actually ranked it as 19th on your list, Dan.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right.
So not a big fan of the single rail coasters yet, which is fair enough. Assuming Yoi was a typo for this legendary. Whoops. My quiz question is actually not is related to a different ride, not this one. So I messed up. So okay, there's no
That's
quiz
all right. I'll
question
do
for
it
this
anyway.
one. All right. Well, this is in relation to Yukon Striker.
Okay, yeah, nice.
It's got nothing to do with this. Assuming Yoi was a typo for this legendary dive coaster, when Yukon Striker opened at Canada's Wonderland, what unique underground element does it plunge into at the bottom of its first drop?
Well, it's a tunnel that's like under a lake.
Yeah, it's a tunnel surrounded by water. So yeah, you've secured that one as well. So we've got one, two, three, four, five, six,
Wait,
seven.
James, did you use AI for this?
I used. I had very little time to prepare, Dan. You know, I don't know. I don't have all these facts about these roller coasters I've never been on before. Give me like a little bit of a break here. I used Gemini, if that makes it any better than
Yeah,
ChatGPT.
Gemini is good.
Yeah, exactly. But except for me, it misunderstood this one. But I didn't specify Yoy Holland, I suppose. All right. Let's move on. Gonna choose Rock and Roller Coaster. That's an interesting one to be on the list. So that does make the top 25, people. Dan, let's hear about it.
Okay, so first of all, before I explain anything about Rock and Roller Coaster,
This
I'm
is the
going to
Paris one,
put,
right?
yeah, I'm gonna put it in D tier again with Yoi.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, so the reason that I love this coaster is less to do with the actual coaster itself and more to do with the memories that I have surrounding it. Because when I was like 9 or 10, we went to Disneyland Paris, and me and my dad just lapped Rock and Roller Coaster about 10 times back to back to back to back. And it's just a really like core memory for me. It's like one of the reasons that I became a theme park enthusiast, because like I was just so taken aback by how amazing the Disney parks were, and it was really quiet. So we just managed to get on it loads. It was one of the first coasters that I'd done that had inversions, so it was like really scary for me at the time. So it's less to do with the coaster itself and more to do with my own personal experience. But yeah, I really liked it. I haven't done it as Avengers Flight Force, but it's definitely still in my top 25 even all these years on, because yeah, I have great memories surrounding it.
So you actually ranked it at 25, and that's interesting because Yoi and Fly. Well, let's just talk about Fly. That was ranked at 24. So these are Fly just for some reason has ended up in E tier, whereas Rock and Roller Coaster. I guess that nostalgia has pushed it up a tier for you.
Yeah, it looks as though that's the reason why, because I have no other reason why it would be higher than Fly other than that. So, yeah.
It's just funny how these things turn out. Yeah, I get you, man, completely. I've got rides like that. For me, that was Jewel. So like, I find it really hard to explain to people why I prefer Jewel to Curse, because and also like even when before it got turned to Curse, a lot of people started to dislike it because it was needed like all this maintenance. But I was actually really sad that Jewel was going to be changed. Curse of Ultimate Man is a fantastic ride, but like it's that nostalgia thing. Like Jewel was always the one I looked forward to going on. I really loved the competitiveness of getting in there with your friends and like trying to beat your score each time, and like that's just a huge missing element. The original soundtrack and like even the set pieces. I just know I know what you mean in terms of nostalgia. Like it's not technically the best ride. It really isn't the best dark rider ever or anywhere near. But I would put it very high up on my list. So
Yeah,
probably
I
similar
agree.
with
Like, for me, it's the soundtrack, like the original soundtrack for Jewel. Like the dun dun
yeah.
dun 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 dun. Dun. It's so
I
good,
play
man.
that.
Like,
I do actually have that played in the Laser Quest Arena sometimes
yeah, I love that.
because it fits so well. All right, cool. Rock and Roller Coaster. I've actually been to Disneyland Paris, but I've not been on Rock and Roller Coaster because when I went, it wasn't open. It was it was closed for whatever reason. Um, so I've not been on it. But what is it? It's a Vekoma.
Yeah, Vekoma LSM launch coaster.
So it probably packed quite a punch. Those Vekoma LSMs they always felt quite forceful like, on their launches.
It's funny though, because I did a clone of Rock and Roller Coaster at Wallaby Holland, and I absolutely hated it.
Is that the one that sort of starts? It's like themed to a train station.
Yeah, Express Platform 13. Yeah,
And that one's nowhere near like, on this list. I didn't see it, so
it's near the bottom of my list.
maybe it's just down to the maintenance of the ride or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it was so rough, man. It's horrible.
Sorry to hear about that experience, man. You are a little Mac soft boy, so yeah, I'm not surprised. All right, so we're almost there. Let's carry on. What's an interesting one for me? I want to know why Dragon Khan's even on the top 25. So please tell me
Wait.
about what.
You're missing my question for Rock and Roller Coaster.
Sorry. Yeah. Before being rethemed to Avengers Assemble Flight Force, each of the 5 sound tracker trains had a distinct colour and Aerosmith soundtrack. Which colour train featured the song "Love in an Elevator"?
Oh my god. I'm gonna say the green train.
No fucking way.
Is that right?
Yes.
That was a complete guess. I didn't even know if there was a green train. I just assumed that it was going to be blue, red, yellow, green, and pink or something, and yeah.
You just pull this shit from your arse, man. uh, Wow, I was really hoping I could swindle you there and put Rock and Roller Coaster in like S tier or something. You are defeating me, so let's move on. Dragon Khan is an interesting choice for a top 25 list, in my opinion. So let's move on to Dragon Khan. Tell me about
The reason Dragon Khan is in my top 25 is the exact same reason why Nemesis is in my top 25. It's a 1990s B&M coaster that is incredibly intense, and I love that. Like,
that.
I think that it's probably one of the, if not the most intense coaster I've done. It made me grey out in the daytime. I've done it in the night and it's not as intense because obviously the heat and it's not as hot, but it's one of the most intense rides I've ever done. And for that reason, I love it. I think it's brilliant.
So it's also a John Wardley layout.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you want to put it on your tier list?
I'm going to put it in A, just under Nemesis.
Okay, so we've got an A. I'm just checking where you put it on your list.
I bet I'm way off.
Um, let's see. Well, no, so actually it's 12th, so it's not that far. It's 12th, but it's behind, in your main list, it's behind Lost Gravity,
Okay.
which is interesting,
Yeah, that is
because
interesting.
it's gone right up here.
I might have to
I,
reevaluate my list.
You know what? That's what this is all about, Dan. That's what this is all about. I actually think Dragon Con is a really like incredible looking roller coaster. The way that it's, I mean, obviously you could say the same about Shambhala, but let's just talk about Dragon Con for a second. It's probably one of the most picturesque looking rides where it sits in the park at the top of that hill, with the Spanish sun over the top of it. It's honestly breathtaking. It's an incredible looking thing. But I think I rode it too late in my life. Every time I go on it, I have a horrible experience. It's just so rough. I don't know if it was smooth when it opened, but I don't know what it needs. If it had lap bars, that might help. I think the restraints kill it for me.
I
But I
don't.
wouldn't rate it
I
as A.
personally, I personally don't think it's very rough. I just think it's really intense.
I smack my head on that thing like nothing else, man.
Really?
Yeah, for real, for real. Like I consider it as painful as Colossus, genuinely.
That's mental.
It's just funny how everyone's perspective and experiences are different, you know. Like,
Yeah.
but I respect. But Dragon Khan, folks, is in an A tier here next to Nemesis. Interestingly, we've got lots of modern coasters underneath these two 90s roller coasters here, which are in A tier. So that's cool to see. Let me ask you the fun fact about Dragon Khan. I'm assuming you'll know the answer to this, mate. The When it opened in 1995 with a record-breaking 8 inversions, it introduced a brand new element to the coaster world. What was the world's first inversion called?
That is an incredibly good question. I already know it. Interlocking corkscrews.
No.
Oh, no way. Well, wait, let me go
It,
through it. So you've got a loop,
no,
and you've got a
no,
side.
you've already answered. You've already answered. It's a dive loop.
There was
It's the
never a
first one.
dive loop. That
No,
was the
that's the
first ever
first.
dive loop.
That was the first ever dive loop.
That is crazy. Okay, respect.
And to be honest, that's probably my favourite part of the ride.
Nah, it's got to be the zero G roll.
It hurts. Anyway, do I want to move Dragon Khan? I'd put it in E. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in E.
Whoa, whoa.
I got to shake things up, Dan. I've not had, I would have gone easier on you, but you've answered every single question right so far. So I was getting impatient. Let me think about it.
For the last one, because obviously we've done 9, so we've got one left. For the last one, can we do the Gyros wrap just in the top right?
Can we do that after the next roller coaster then?
Yeah.
I don't want. I'm gonna have to leave. I'm gonna put Dragon Con back where it is, and I'll tell you why. It's because I can't look at Icon where it is, and see Dragon Con below it. Genuinely. So the way you've actually structured this list has made me unable to move Dragon Con from where it is. To be honest, because it's definitely not worse than Icon. I feel sorry for Fly, man. Right, last roller coaster out of your. Obviously, Dan has got. If you've not been following along, this is from a top 25 list. Just to make this more digestible, we're just taking from that top 25 10 coasters. If you want, I'll save this tier list. If you want to watch another episode, then we will continue this ranking and see where this ends up changing things in Dan's mind. For the last coaster, let's try and pick something really interesting or controversial. Okay, what's something people know as well? Megaphobia in Oakwood, Dan. Or what was Megaphobia?
Megaphobia was a Custom Coasters International wooden coaster, and it for me was like the perfect wooden coaster. I think that I'm gonna put it in B tier, but just above Icon.
Okay, so B tier for Megaphobias. Oakwood's Megaphobia. Let's take a moment of silence for Megaphobia. Very sad. Very sad. We shouldn't have
Extremely
to lose.
sad.
I mean, this will be Alton Towers in a few years. We'll be saying the same thing about Nemesis.
Oh. True.
That is sad, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, I can't argue with that. So you think it's better than Lost Gravity? It's better than Troy? What are the key differences with Troy and Megaphobia?
Oh, see, now you said that, I think I've ranked it below Troy in my top 25. But the thing is, the stuff I was saying earlier about there not being a wooden roller coaster that is bigger than Wicker Man and is still quite enjoyable because it's not so rough. Megaphobia does fit into that because Megaphobia wasn't very rough. It was just really, really fun, and it was really like it was quite tall and quite fast. So I've kind of fucked up there, but I'm still gonna keep Megaphobia in the B tier.
It's the kind of wooden roller coaster I would have wanted rather than Wicker Man. Wicker Man's great, don't get me wrong, but it's the kind of thing I expected when Alton Towers said they were bringing a wooden coaster to Alton Towers. Not like this sort of like. If it wasn't for the theme of Wicker Man, then it would be a very discount wooden roller coaster. That's all I'm saying. It's still
100%.
fantastic, but it's just missing like some of the key elements of a wooden roller coaster, like the really long switchbacks, where you like it's got them, but they're just everything's just smaller. It's like just been scaled down a little bit.
Just a little baby.
Why. Yeah, it is a little baby wooden roller coaster though. Wicker Man really is a little baby wooden roller coaster. Not for little babies, just compared to a lot of other wooden roller coasters, it's very small. It's alright though. Anyway, this isn't about Wicker Man. Megaphobia, you've put that there. Yeah, so you ranked Troy at 15th and on your top 25, and Megaphobia was ranked at... God, this is a long list, Dan. Megaphobia was at 18th, so...
I think in hindsight, I think I should probably have Megaphobia above Troy. Because Megaphobia is a really brilliant coaster.
That's our final 10. So, shall I just go through it quickly? Where they were ranked?
No, where's my question?
Oh, thank you for reminding me. Next time we do this, I'll try and remember. Megaphobia. Built in 1996, this ride holds a special place in history as the first coaster built outside of the USA by which legendary wooden roller coaster manufacturer?
Custom
Come on, you know
Coasters
this.
International.
Correct. There we go. So let's just quickly check. So, Ride to Happiness, S tier. That is your number one roller coaster. That is on number one on your list, and it sits in that position very nicely there. Now we come to A tier. So you've put Nemesis Reborn and Dragon Con there, two absolute beasts from John Wardley from the 1990s. What a time to be alive as a roller coaster enthusiast. Let's hope we get we get that sort of roller coaster race again.
Never going to happen.
So Nemesis Reborn was ranked 10th, so just about making the top 10, and Dragon Khan on your original list at 12th. So reasonable that they're there. But the roller coasters that are in between that we didn't touch on, so that explains why they aren't on the list anywhere else. You know what I'm saying, on the tier list. Going over to B tier, you've put Megaphobia and Icon. So Icon was a 14th place on your overall top 25, and Megaphobia was 18th place. So very similar to the A tier. There's like two roller coasters in between that have made the difference, but again, reasonable. C tier, we've got Lost Gravity and Troy. So this is where things are a bit different, because Troy was actually ranked as a better roller coaster in your original list than Megaphobia, but that's been switched over. And Lost Gravity, let me remind myself, was 11th. So bit of a shame.
It should in theory be in the A tier, and Dragon Khan should be in the B tier if you use that logic. But
there we go. That's how these things change. And then we've got Yoi and Rock and Roller Coaster in D. Now, based on seeing those next to each other, would you make any changes to that?
No, I'd keep that the same.
All right, and then Fly, poor Fly, in E. Is that fine in that, and you're happy with that still?
Yeah, like I said at the beginning when we put it in, as a coaster, I'm not a massive fan. But Rookburg, as an area, is probably the best theme park area I've ever been in. So it just shows that, it has its merit.
Interesting list, Dan. Interesting list. Okay, there we go. So we've taken 10 roller coasters from Dan's top 25 roller coaster list, and we've put it onto a tier list, and this is what it looks like. We've still got 15 roller coasters left from that list to put on here, so we'll maybe do that next time. Let's see where they all overall rank. Let me know. Do you agree with Dan's ranking of these roller coasters if you've been on them? Do you think Nemesis Reborn deserves to be in A tier? That's probably a yes. Do you think that Icon deserves to be B tier? That's probably a no. So let me know. But I mean, based off of the roller coasters that are around it, I think it makes sense. I just think I've not been on Fly, and I'll wait until I go on Fly to make my final decision. But I would have to imagine that, taking into consideration the overall experience, it's got to be better than Icon.
It's not, but, honestly, it's not.
Right. All right, so just to finish things off, Dan.
Yes.
I've got a Greek Gyros here.
Oh! I'm going to put that... Is it made by Ollie?
Yeah, this is Ollie's Greek Pita Gyros.
Okay, that's going in the S tier.
Boom! There we go, baby.
Boom.
Boom.
Thank you, Ollie.
All right. Dan, any closing comments that you'd like to tell everybody about your list?
Thank you for tuning in and watching my list. Hopefully you'll tune in again when we look at the rest of it. I'm sorry if some of it was controversial, but unfortunately it's my fucking list and not yours.
Yeah, that is true. But it could be my list if Dan gets more questions wrong. So next time I'm going to ramp up the difficulty of the questions, and then we can move some of this stuff around. Hope you enjoyed, guys. Next time, I'll see you then.
Thank you for tuning in to Theme Park Society. I've been Dan Frowns, that's been James Smiles. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.